in the layered architecture, OSI layer, either go with OSI layer or go with TCP/IP layer. The bottommost layer, observe the bottommost layer. If you observe the bottommost layer, yeah, I had a problem. Wait a minute. 70378. Ichita is getting problem. One of your friend is getting problem in joining the session. My meeting number is same. Again, I'll send the link. The link పెడుతున్నాను group లో. If you had any problems in joining the session, you can use that HTTP link also. Instead of a number, you can join with the meeting link also. And after 10 minutes, the meeting will be logged automatically. After 10 minutes. అంటే ఎవరైనా లేట్ కమర్స్ ఉంటే చెప్తున్నాను in the future coming sessions. When you join to the session after 10 minutes, you connected to the session, but you are in waiting state. Waiting state అనమాట. Until and unless I admit you, you will be in waiting state. ఆ స్టేట్లో ఉన్నప్పుడు డోంట్ ఎగ్జిట్ ఫ్రమ్ ద సెషన్, ఎందుకంటే ఇట్ విల్ టేక్ ఫర్ మీ టు అడ్మిట్ యూ. ఆ టైంలో నేను క్లిక్ ఆన్ అడ్మిట్, అదే టైంలో యూ లాగౌట్ ఫ్రమ్ ద సెషన్, మళ్ళీ విల్ బి డబుల్ ప్రాసెస్, రైట్? సో వెన్ ఎవర్ యూ లాగిన్ ఆఫ్టర్ 10 minutes విల్ బి ఇన్ వెయిటింగ్ స్టేట్. నేను ఒకసారి చాట్లో చూసుకున్న తర్వాత ఐ విల్ ఎనేబుల్ యువర్ సెషన్, రైట్? సో స్టార్ట్ అవర్ సెషన్ విత్ ఫిజికల్ లేయర్. టుడే ఐ విల్ share my screen first, right? I hope everyone is getting my screen, able to see my screen. Okay, today's module is physical layer. Small topic, but important topic. Actually, real time lo the guys who are working in the real time, మీ బ్రాడ్బ్యాండ్ కనెక్షన్స్ ఇవన్నీ ఇవ్వడానికి వస్తారు కదా, సో there they will work with physical layer directly, getting the cable, connecting the components with the cable, the devices with the cable. That is the main thing happened at physical layer. Okay, so you need a little knowledge on that one also. So that's why Cisco provided a complete separate module for physical layer. The physical layer, today's objectives on this session, physical layer. Actually, what is the purpose of physical layer? Characteristics of physical layer, and then cabling. How cables were there, copper cables were there, and then fiber optic cables were there. So this is a wired network, and coming to the wireless network, we have a wireless medium, right? So starting with purpose of physical layer. Actually, what is the purpose of physical layer? Physical layer and physically we need connections. Before making any communications, there should be a physical connection between the devices. Physical connection between the devices is the first requirement. That physical connection may be either wired or wireless, two ways, either wired or wireless. And then how we can attach these devices physically with the help of a some component called network interface card. In the computers or laptops, we have a separate component called network interface card. It's a physical card. So onto that card we will insert our cable, right? If it is a wireless, we have a Wi-Fi, right? Some devices have multiple network interface cards. For example, if you take example of your laptop, you will be having only one NIC, network interface card. That means only one port to insert the cable. So whereas in large data centers or when servers contains more than one network interface card, right? One is used for incoming, one is used for outgoing, like that, right? And all the network interface cards won't have the same performance level. Different kinds of cards have different parameters, right? So coming to the physical layer, and aligned with the yesterday's session, observe the same diagram malli ikkada vachindi manaki. Same diagram, connecting, establish a connection between web server and a client. We need to transfer some data. So observe the diagram. For the data, we will attach each at the physical layer. So we have, this is the basic format. each layer we will attach some headers or components. So at TCP layer we will attach TCP segment. At IP layer we will that thing becomes IP packet, and Ethernet layer, after attaching the Ethernet headers, it will become Ethernet frame. That means encapsulation process is going on. Observe, starting from I'll take annotation. Starting from here, this is your data. Okay, this is your data at top application layer, and then in the TCP layer, what is the next layer? TCP segment. So for your data, a segment is applied at TCP layer. So then it becomes data with TCP, right? And coming to the next layer, what is the next layer? IP layer. And at the IP layer, an IP packet is attached. IP packet low, what are the things were there in the IP packet? Source address, destination IP address. So we will attach those things to this segment again, right? Now it will becomes like this. And then coming to the last one, Ethernet layer, Ethernet frame, physical layer. There, Ethernet frame, the data, complete data becomes, we will attach Ethernet frame. That means we will convert the data into digital signals, zeros and ones. So for the data at the Ethernet frame, it will become this much length, right? Got my point? Data to the TCP segment is attached, and then the IP layer, IP packet is attached, and at the Ethernet, we will attach Ethernet frame. This is the basic layered architecture. At the layered architecture, at each step, we will attach some things. So this is the final format of the data. Okay, so this is the data, ultimate data. So this is the final data. What my point? Your original data is different from this encapsulated data, and at the receiving end, we need to uncover all these things. First, we remove Ethernet, and then IP packet, and then decapsulate the TCP. Finally, we will obtain the data. Right? This is the way we will transform. We will transmit the data from source to destination. Okay. Next, coming to the next slide, physical layer characteristics. So, physical layer characteristics are defined by some standard organization, that is we discussed in last session, earlier sessions. So what are the different important organizations? So coming to the physical layer, the important organizations are ISO, EIA, TIA, ITUT, ANSI and IEEE. So these are the things, these are the organizations work at data and physical layer, right? And next, from the half part of data to application layer, TCP IP standards were maintained by IETF, completely maintained by IETF. The standards given by IETF. So IETF monitors from application layer, top application layer to half part of the data link layer. And then from half part of data link layer to physical layer, these are the organizations which will give the standards, right? And you know what is the importance of standards. If you won't manufacture or your device with standards, okay, the device won't work with any other manufactured devices. Next, what are the components of physical layer? So there are three. Actually, before going to the components, first, what are the functional areas of physical address? Functional areas means, actually first we need to identify physical components, and then how encode is performed and how signaling is performed. First identify physical component, and then what is encoding and what is signaling, right? So what are the physical components in a device? As I told you earlier, the physical component first is a network interface card. Network interface card, NIC. In the companies or organizations, we will call them as NICs. NIC is failed, NIC is working fine, NIC is getting heated, like that. We will use the name NIC. And then interfaces. Interfaces means for each switch we have interfaces, physical ports were there. Those are the interfaces. For the systems also we have interfaces. Next, how to connect these two interfaces using a cable? Can you connect the cable directly? For that cable we need a pin. That pin is called as a connector, right? Connector, and then cable materials, and then cable design. So all these are required for the connection between devices, right? And then coming to the next slide, encoding. So first, what I told you, first identifying the physical components, and then how encoding is performed, and then signaling, right? We just now finished with the physical components. What are the physical components? NICs, interfaces, connectors, cable materials, cable designs. All these comes under physical components at the physical layer, bottommost layer. And then above that one we have encoding. So encoding is the thing which converts a stream of bits. Okay, your original data is converted into electrical signals, a stream of bits. This is called as encoding. Okay, the coding provides predictable pattern, right? So observe the figure. There we have a voltage levels. I think you are familiar with the digital electronics. 0 and 1. 0 and 1. In digital electronics, we have only two options. For the bits, we have only two options, either 0 or 1. Okay, 0 or 1. So this is a square wave signal. That means I'll show you. Actually, this bit is 0. When it transforms to, when it changes to 1, this is the signal will get, and then it will be in on state, and then it will be in off state like this, from 1 to 0 downward direction like this. This is the way why we are getting a square wave, because either 0 or 1. 0 means complete this part, 1 means complete this part. 0 or 1. There are only two options for the digital data. Okay, next, signaling. So I think you are familiar with encoding, right? And then we'll go with the signaling. So signaling means how these zeros are ones, how these bits are transferred in the physical medium, how these bits are transferred in the physical medium. So in order to transfer this data, either 0 or 1, we need a medium. Okay, first discuss that human communication. In order to communicate with other person, the medium is air, and the signaling or encoding format I chosen is voice. My voice travels to the air acts as a medium, and the receiver will receive my voice. Right. Same way, in the in the digital technology, we have a data which is already encoded into format either 0 or 1. In order to transfer these bits, zeros or ones, from one point to another point, source to destination, we need a medium, signaling medium. There are different types of mediums were there. So those are electrical signals were transferred. Electrical signals were transferred using a copper cable. What my point? Electrical signals were transferred using copper cable. The signal will be of two formats, either electrical or light pulses. Electrical pulses contain 0 or 1. Light pulses contains a light signal, LED or a laser signal, right? So in order to transfer this data from one point to another point, if we choose electrical signal, there we use copper cable. If we choose light pulse to transfer the data, there we will use fiber optic cable, right? This is the way we will transfer the data using a medium, either using copper cable, electrical pulses, fiber optic cable, light pulses. So here we are using cable, right? So other than that, if you are using a cable, that medium is nothing but wired network, right? And one more thing is there, that is a called as wireless network. Wireless means there is no need for wireless. We can transmit our signals in a wireless fashion. How wireless transmission occurs? Using microwave signals or radio signals. Okay, these zeros and ones, these bits will be transferred with the microwaves in the wireless transmission. So up to now you are clear that mainly there are two ways we can make communication, either wired or wireless network. In the wired network, again we have two things: copper or fiber. In the copper, you will transfer the data in the format of electrical signals. In the fiber, you will transfer the data in the form of using light pulses. And coming to wireless, you will transfer the data using microwave signals. Right. So up to now, you are clear with identifying physical components, encoding, and then signaling. Next, bandwidth. So bandwidth is the most important term used in the networking. So bandwidth means the amount of carrying capacity at a time, how much amount of data it can transfer. So this is measured in bits per second. This is measured in bits per second. The larger the bandwidth, we can transfer more amount of data. Smaller the bandwidth, we cannot transfer more amount of data. So unit of bandwidth is bits per second, so it is abbreviated as BPS. The basic unit for bandwidth is bits per second. The abbreviation is BPS. It is a basic fundamental unit of bandwidth. And then we will go with kilobits per second, kbps. Right? You already know that one. What is 1 kbps? 1 kbps is equal to 1000 bits. Right? Next, 1 mbps. 1 mbps is equal to 1000 kbps. That means 10 to the power of 6 bits per second. And next, 1 gbps. 1 gbps is equal to 10 to the power of 9 bits per second. That means after 1 we have 9 zeros. Right? And then 1 terabyte per second. Terabit per second. 1 tbps. So your broadband connection. So now basically our broadband connection is having a bandwidth capacity of Gbps, basically home connections. Reliance Jio now supports 1 Gbps connectivity. 1 Gbps. The more the bandwidth, we can have large amount of data transfer rate. Bandwidth ante practical ga, if I want to tell you practically, suppose take our college gate as an example. Okay, one bus is one data item. So if I open only one gate, actually the capacity is 2 gates, but if I open only one gate, only one vehicle can enter into the campus or get out of the campus at a time. If I open 2 gates, what happens? 2 vehicles can come and go at a time. That means more the bandwidth, more the transfer rate. Okay, less the bandwidth, less the transfer rate. Got my point? And then coming to the next slide, bandwidth. In the bandwidth, we have different terminologies. Bandwidth means amount of capacity that we can transfer the data, and then to the bandwidth, we have different terminologies. First one is latency, throughput, goodput. Latency means amount of time, including delays. There may be some delays for data to travel from one point to another point. For example, you all are connected to my WebEx session. Okay, so someone has good internet connection, they connected little bit faster. If someone is connected with a low internet connection, that means if their bandwidth latency is high, they will connect with they will take more time to connect. Right? Latency, amount of time for a data to travel from one point to another. Next, throughput. Throughput means the measure of transfer of bits across media over in a given period of time. How many bits we can transfer? That is called as a throughput. Either 1 Mbps, 2 Mbps, like that. Next, goodput. Goodput means the amount of data actually transferred in a given period of time. Throughput means you are telling that your network has this amount of throughput, but in practical there may transfer the data or there may be any delays in the practical. If in practical, in real time, there may be some delays or like that. So the final out term to be measured is goodput. Goodput is the measure of data transferred over a given point of time. The formula for goodput is equal to throughput minus traffic overhead. Throughput minus traffic overhead. Traffic overhead means amount of load on the device or traffic at that time, and throughput is the measure of amount of bits transferred at that period of time. Right? Next. So to transfer signals, first we have two things, either wired or wireless networks. So in the wired networks, what is the first one? Copper cabling. Second one, fiber optics. Okay, copper cabling and fiber optics. So first we will go with copper cabling, right? in the copper cabling. So this is the basic networking. In the basic networking, we will use copper cabling only because the amount for installing copper cabling is very less. Investment is less when compared to the fiber optic cables. It is very less expensive, easy to install, and low resistance to electrical current flow. Right. So this is the basic characteristics of copper cabling. Next, limitations. Limitations means attenuation. Attenuation means attenuation. If I want to give you with a good example, for example, if you are a person, so in the play field, if you throw a ball, if you throw a ball, okay, if you throw a ball, can I expect that that ball will go to Hyderabad? If a human throws a ball from Anankonda, can that ball reach to uh, Hyderabad? No, because there is a limitation. The amount of power, okay, human can throw, there is some limitation. Up to some meters only the ball can reach. Okay, like that, copper cable also some parameter called attenuation. Attenuation means with increase in the amount of distance, the electrical signals will become weak, very weak. Okay, with the amount of increasing in the distance, electrical signals will get weak. In the LAN connection, the default measure is 100 meters. The basic good transfer length of using copper cable is 100 meters. After 100 meters, we cannot guarantee that electrical signal may transfer, right? And next, one more limitation is electrical signals may get affected with EMI, electromagnetic interference. Next, radio frequency interference, right? Uh, if I want to tell you with a good example, suppose you have speakers, right? Speakers or TV. Put your mobile right in near to the device, either speakers or TV, and make a call or send some message to your mobile. Okay. During receiving any calls, we have some interference in the speakers or TV, some noise you may heard. So that means there is an interference from mobile, interference to the device with the mobile, interference to the speakers with the mobile. Some sound will generate it. Same way, in the electrical cables also some interference will occur. This affects that the digital data either 0 or 1. Due to this external interference, that signal actual original data bit may interchange. Either it may be go to from 1 to 0 or 0 to 1. That means there may be changeover of original data. There is a chance of alteration of original data, right? So these are the basic limitations of copper cables, and then mitigation. Mitigation means how to overcome these issues. So strict adhere to cable length limits, right? As I told you, 100 meters the strict limit. Next, some kinds of copper cable mitigate EMI because whatever the cables we are using, if there is a shielding over the cable, if there is a shielding over the cable, so electrical EMI interference won't appear, have impact on that one. Consider if your dish cable open just to say, if you open a dish cable to the inner copper cable, single inner copper cable, over that one we have some shielding, aluminum shielding wire is there, complete total surrounded to that cable. It acts as a shielding. So using that shielding also we can avoid that EMI or RFI. Next, copper cable mitigate cross talk. If you twist the cable, okay, we can avoid cross talk. Okay, that's why we implement twisted pairs. I will show you in the next. So this is the picture. Observe from the top left. So it is an unshielded twisted pair cable, UTP, unshielded twisted pair. And the second one is shielded twisted pair cable, STP cable. That means we have some shielding. Observe. Uh, as I told you, so this is a copper cable. To the inner cable, here we are providing some shielding. This is the shielding. This is the shielding cable, shielding wire. So with the help of the shielding wire, we can avoid EMI effect on this inner cable, inner wire. Like that, these are the pairs in a network cable. Okay. So to avoid any EMI or RFI impact over that one, we can use some shielding. Observe, shielding cover has been opened, then only you are getting those inner wires. Some shielding is there. Observe here, some shielding material is there. So that type of cable is called as shielded twisted pair cable. If there is no shielding to the pairing cable, that type of cable is called as unshielded twisted pair cable. In our laboratories or basic networking, we will use unshielded twisted pair cable because the cost for unshielded UTP cable is less when compared to STP cable, right? These are the different types of copper cables. And then coming to the internal architecture of UTP cable, unshielded twisted pair cable. I'll show you a real-time cable. Before going to that one, first go with the diagram. So number one, it is a top cover. We have a top cover which is called as outer jacket. So that blue color thing, whatever the thing you are getting, that is called as top cover. And then we have inner twisted pairs. Okay, two wires were twisted to avoid electrical or EMI interference. To avoid EMI interference. Next, third one. It is a color coded plastic insulation. In that actually we have our original cable. Right. Let me connect to the session with my mobile. First I'll get my meeting information. Not able to get meeting info. 57037. Right. So what my point? Have you understood this concept of basic wire? Right. Basic UTP cable. We have outer jacket which protects the copper cable. Next, we have inner twisted pairs, and then finally we have our original cable, right? So let me show you actually how the physical cable is. So everyone, able to see my laptop keyboard? Hello? Able to hear my voice and my laptop keyboard? Anyone can respond. Because I am the
Yes, sir.
host, I am not able to see this one. Anyone can respond to me whether you are able to see my laptop keyboard. I am sharing my laptop screen. I am sharing the data. Let me become host, presenter. Able to see my laptop screen? I mean laptop keyboard. Anyone can reply? Hello?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Yeah, okay, fine. So let me show you how actually I had shown you in the PPT how the structure of a unshielded twisted pair, and now let me show you how the actual cable is. So I think you are able to see this cable. Yeah. So that blue color This blue color, it's an outer core, and if you open that outer core, we have four pairs. Okay, four pairs: blue, orange, green, and brown. Four pairs. In each pair, we have two wires. Okay, for the brown, we have a combination. A light brown color line is there, and then for blue color, we have combination blue white wire, and orange we have a orange white combination, and to the green pair we have a green white combination, right? So this is the way, this is the actual structure of an uh, cable. Okay, UTP cable, because there is no shielding to this cable. There is no shielding, that's why this type of cable is called as unshielded twisted pair cable, right? To this cable, we will open these things, these wires. We will remove out all these wires, and to these wires, okay, we will use a pin. So this is the pin, so which is called as a connector, RJ45 connector, right? This is how it look like, RJ45 connector, right? So into this RJ45 connector, we will insert our wires. We will insert our wires and make a connection using a tool. Using a tool called crimping tool. In the laboratory, I will show you physically. After college opening, I will show you physically. Using this crimping tool, we will attach that pin to the this pin. You will insert this pin to your laptop or desktop. For example, here you can observe I connected my RJ45 pin into my laptop. Okay, to that pin I had a cable, right? UTP cable. Okay, this is the way. So let me change my role. How you will connect your pins, right? Next, moving on to the next slide. So just give a reply. Have you got idea practically how this architecture looks like? And next, this is the one, shielded twisted pair. So whatever the cable I had shown you earlier, physical cable, if there is any shielding, observe the number 2. If there is any shielding, that type of cable is called as shielded twisted pair cable. And next, last one, coaxial cable, is the cable used in earlier days which supports only low bandwidth. Basically, we will use these cables at our dish connections, right? You can see your disconnection cable, which is nothing but a coaxial cable, which contains, observe the numbers, number 1, uh, outer jacket, and in that one we have shielding, and in that one, uh, inner plastic insulation, a white color material is there, acts as insulation, and the fourth one, it is a actual copper conductor. Okay, the pins used to connect this cable were shown in the bottom picture. So different pins are B and C, N type, F type. These are the pins we will use to connect the coaxial cable. And next, UTP cabling. UTP cabling. So this is a cable already I shown you. So how we will perform cabling, right? So there are some standards, UTP standards were there. So those standards are 568. The standard is 568 standard. In that we have 568A and 568B standard is there. So in cables, copper cables, we have different categories. Those categories are category 3, category 5E, category 6. Okay, category 3 cable looks like this. There is no twisting. Category 5 and 5E cable have twisted pairs. Category 6 cable also we have twisted pairs. Okay, the difference between these cables are speed, bandwidth. The bandwidth supported by Cat 3 cable is less. Cat 5 and Cat 5 cable is a little bit higher. That means they can support up to 1 Gbps. Cat 5 cable supports up to 100 Mbps. Cat 5e cable supports transfer rate up to 1 Gbps. Cat 6 cable supports transfer rate more than 1 Gbps. What my point? Cat 3 cable low bandwidth 10 Mbps. So how we will connect these cables? Okay, first you have to identify the cable type. That cable may be either category 3 or category 5, 5e or category 6. After identify the cable, you have to measure the cable length. Okay, 2 meters, 3 meters, 10 meters like that. And then you have to choose the connectors. I already shown you RJ45 connector pin. You have to choose proper connector, and then you need to terminate the cable. How you are terminating the cable? At the end, you are joining the cable to a connector, inserting a connector and making it as a pin. So this is the way you will terminate the cable, and finally you can make the testing of the cable. So how you can perform testing means we have different devices called cable testers. Using that we can test the cable whether it is working or not. And next, the cable, whatever the cable should have some standards which are given by TIA or EIA. TIA, EIA. These are the standards. Standards for CAT cables were given by TIA, EIA. And next, the connectors, right? How the connector will look like. Already I had shown you the connector. So first one is RJ45 connector. Okay, already I shown it to you. And next, RJ45 connector, one more white cable I had shown you. This is one more type of connector. And then sockets. Socket means these are the wall sockets. At the wall outlets, like our electrical socket is there. To the walls, we can provide RJ45 sockets. So if you had a computer, to the wall, we can internally we can lay out the cable, and at the switchboard, like electrical outlet is there, we can provide RJ45 outlet using these sockets, and to that socket we will connect our cable, and other end we will connect our system, right? Next, so how cables should be terminated? So the cables to be terminated like this. The outer jacket, whatever the outer jacket is there, should be firmly inserted into this pin. Okay, this is the best example for properly terminated UTP cable. And this picture, outer jacket is not inserted properly into the RJ45 jack. That means these inner cables were exposed to the external environments. That means if you twist the cables, the inner cables are very sensitive that they may get break. Out of air wires, if any one of the wire may get break, there will be no communication path. If you perform a proper perfect termination, if you twist the cable, there will be no impact on inner cables. Why? Because observe the second picture, the outer jacket provides security. If you twist the cable, the impact or the pressure will be on that outer jacket only. There will be no pressure on inner wires, right? So we'll go to the next slide. So straight through cable, crossover cable. Already told you in the bracket tracer, there is a difference when to use straight through cable, when to use crossover cable. If you are connecting your system to your end device to the network device, there we can use straight over cable, right? If you are connecting your end device to another end device, there you have to use crossover cable, right? So the cable standards, that means what is 568A and 568B means You already observed that there are different colors were there. There are different colors were there. And to the RJ45 pin, we have eight pins, 8 joints. So in that you have to insert each wire. So you have to insert 8 wires, 8 single wires into the jacket, and then perform crimping, right? So which wire to be inserted first, which color to be inserted first, that is the color combination provided by the standard T568A. So in the T568A, the standard is, in the RJ45 pin, first wire should be green white, second wire should be green, third one orange white, fourth one blue, fifth one blue white, sixth one orange, seventh one brown white, eighth one brown. So this is the way you have to insert the, using this color combination, you have to insert the wires into that pin and make termination. And coming to T568B, in this standard, the first wire to be inserted is orange white, then orange, then green white, blue white, green white, brown white, brown. Okay, these are the color combination should be used at 568B if you go with 568B. So what is the difference between straight cable and crossover cable? Straight cable means, to the cable on the both ends, on the two sides, if you use any one color combination, either you may use T568A on both sides or T568B on both sides. Both sides are same. That type of cable is called as straight through cable. Okay, next, what is crossover cable? In the crossover cable, to the cable on one end we will use T568B color coding, and other end we will use T568A color coding. Okay, both ends have different color codes, T568A standard, T568B standard. This type of cable is called as crossover cable, right? So when to use these cables means, straight through cable we will use host to network device, that means end device to network device, and crossover cable we will use these cable at host to host, that means laptop to laptop, laptop to system, that means end device to end device, or switch to switch, or router to router. At these places we will use crossover cable. There is one more cable called as rollover cable. So this cable has serial port to console port. It is a converter, serial to RJ45 converter, rollover cable. Okay, this cable we cannot make, it should be purchased, right? And next, fiber optics. What is a fiber optic? It is not a UTP cable. It transmits the signals in the form of electrical pulses. We are using electrical pulses there. Then there will be no EMI or RFI interference. Next, it is very flexible. Next, laser light. Using laser light, we can transfer the data to longer distances. More than kilometer, we can transfer the data. Right? Fiber optic cables have only signal loss, with the signal loss in light. Okay, in the transmission there may be some minimal signal loss when compared to the copper cables, right? So this is the basic fiber. In the fiber we have two types. So fiber cable we have two types: single mode fiber, multi mode fiber. In the single mode fiber, we will transmit the light yellow color, observe, we will transmit the light in a straight path, right? Only single laser we will use. This is called as single mode fiber. In the multi mode fiber, we will transfer the light in multiple paths, observe, in the multiple paths. This type of fiber is called as multi mode fiber, right? And next, coming to that one, go through this picture and just learn in the slide. I won't go any internal details, but one comparison to be made is the bandwidth. Okay, bandwidth means amount of data transferred at a time, bits per second. The bandwidth supported by single mode fiber is less when compared to multi-mode fiber. Single mode fiber can transfer up to 1 Gbps, right? Multi-mode fiber can transfer over 10 Gbps, 10 Gbps, right? And next, one more important difference is single mode fiber can transmit data to longer distances, whereas multi-mode fiber can transfer data up to very small distance because it uses multi-mode path, right? These are the major differences between single mode and multi-mode fiber. Next, fiber optic cabling. Fiber optic cabling, there are 4 types: enterprise network, fiber to home, long haul, submarine cable. Submarine cable is underground water. We will use submarine cables, and then long haul networks. These networks connects countries with countries. Next, enterprise networks. Enterprise means these are the backbone networks to a company or a large organization. And coming to the last one, fiber to home. These are the connections basically we are using at our home. If you are having connection, broadband connection at your home, that type of connection is called as fiber to home, FTTH connection. Okay. Next, connectors. Connectors in the fiber. So we have ST, straight tip. So these are the connectors: straight tip, lucent connector LC, subscriber connector SC, duplex mode LC connector, right? DMLC. These are the simple connectors, and out of all this, you can observe if you had a fiber connection at your home, observe at your router, you will identify this connection, SC connector. You will be having SC connector, SC, because you are subscriber to that network. You will identify this SC connector at your home router, right? Next, patch cords. Patch cord means these are the cables used to join the fiber devices. Used for joining purposes. There are these the length of the cable is maybe 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter, like that, right? So which converts one type to another type. We have different connectors. So these are the patch cords which converts one type to another type. So you can observe SC to SC, SC to SC, LC to LC, next ST to LC, next ST to SC. That means on one side we have a ST, LC, or one side we have a ST, LC, like this, LC, LC, or SC, SC, subscriber connectors, like this, right? Next, ఇంకొకటి most important thing, visual identification. Visual ga, if you are familiar with the fiber optic networks, if you observe that colors were there, observe orange color, either orange or yellow color is there. Got my point? Out of all these patch cords, we have either yellow or orange cable. So yellow indicates single mode fiber. Orange color indicates it's a multi-mode fiber. Got my point? If you had a FTTH connection in your home, after completion of the session, go to your router and check what type of patch cord is there. You can 100 out of 100 percentage, you will be having this yellow patch cord because you are a subscriber, right? You are a subscriber, so you will be using SC, subscriber tab, right? Single mode fiber we are using, and this is the connection, this is the terminals, or this is the pins you can observe with yellow color patch, right? While looking at the fiber color of the patch cords, we can estimate the which type of fiber it is, either multi-mode fiber or single mode fiber, right? Next, fiber versus copper. This is the difference table. So bandwidth supported by UTP cable, copper cable is max supported is 10 Gbps. If you use fiber optic cable, it's 100 Gbps. Next, the distance. Already told you, copper cable, we can lay copper cable up to max 100 meters only, right? Next, coming to the fiber, we can lay fiber cable up to 100 kilometers, right? And then rest of the things you can study in your content section. And next, we will move to, up to now we completed with wired media, and next we will move to wireless media. What is a wireless media? So wireless media means we will transmit our data in the form of using a medium, microwave, using a medium, wireless as a medium, and in that we will signaling format is radio frequency signals or microwave signals. So in this we have limitations for wire networks. The major limitations are coverage area. Wireless networks can't go to larger distances. There may be interference, right? And there are some security problems because intruders cannot connect to our copper cable, but intruders can have our Wi-Fi signal. Next, shared medium. Shared medium means number of users will connect to the same medium. Okay, number of users connect to the same Wi-Fi signal. But coming to the wire networks, each device has its own Wi-Fi wired cable, unique cable. So bandwidth will be high. But in wireless, uh, all the users will use same Wi-Fi signal. That means same medium, shared medium, and then there will be loss of bandwidth. Bandwidth issues may occur. So these are the major limitations in wireless. And types of wireless media. Okay, so important types of wireless media are, you already know Wi-Fi, and you are already familiar with Bluetooth. And one more thing is WiMAX. So this is actually implemented by BSNL. And last one is Zigbee. Zigbee is used in IoT kind of applications. So low data rate, low power consumption. So for that application, we will use Zigbee. WiMAX means point to multi-point. So I have a signal tower. I transmit my data from one location to a remote area using a point-to-point connection. Next, you already know Bluetooth, wireless personal area network, because you enable Bluetooth. It's your personal network. That's why it is called as a personal network, and you are enabling that medium wireless. Okay, that's why it is called as wireless personal area network. And the next one is Wi-Fi, wireless LAN technology. So out of all these standards, you have to remember that numbers. IEEE standard numbers, specification numbers. IEEE 802.11 means it is a Wi-Fi. IEEE 802.15 means it's a Bluetooth. IEEE 802.16 means WiMAX. IEEE 802.15.14 means it's a Zigbee. Observe, Bluetooth, it's an extension of Bluetooth. IEEE 802.15.4 is a Zigbee, right? You have to remember those things. And next, how wireless LAN is implemented, what are the requirements? In the LAN network or cable network, what are the requirements? Cable, to the cable we need connectors. Using that we will join multiple devices. So coming to the wireless, what are the requirements to establish a wireless LAN infrastructure? The first requirement is access point, wireless access point, and next wireless NIC adapter, network interface card. If NIC uses wire connection, it is called as wired NIC. And if NIC card connects to the device using a wireless technology, that type of NIC is called as wireless NIC. Got my point? So what are the major requirements for establishing a wireless LAN? Access point and NIC. So wireless NICs manaki ekkada untayi? Where we can find these wireless NICs? In our laptops, internally we have our wireless NIC. Okay, solved. Next, where we can have wireless access point? So in your home, your wireless router device is there now. So wireless routers has a capability to establish, to make a wireless access point connection. To that access point we will connect. So this is the way we can establish a wireless LAN network, WLAN network, right? So connect a wired and wireless LAN. So in packet tracer, that is the activity given by Cisco. So connect to cloud, connect to a router, connect remaining devices, verify connections. Already in the previous sessions we done with the wired network. Okay, I picked a switch. To that switch, I connected multiple end devices or PCs or laptops using a cable. Right. In that same place, use a wireless router. To the wireless router, connect your laptop using wireless connection. Right. So this is the way you can implement wired and wireless LAN. And next is this is an identification purpose. Identify and work with PCNICs. So identify user system tray network icon. What is the representation of system tray network icon? So with this, our module is finished, and I'll show you the wireless router, how it is, how we can enable our wireless access point. For this one, again, I'll connect my mobile phone. In 5 minutes, I will close the session. I think every one of you able to see my mobile video, right? Anyone respond to me? Any one of you able to hear my voice because I shifted to my mobile?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Now I will show you router. You already seen your wireless routers in your homes, but I'll show you again. So this is an example of a wireless router. It has a antenna, wireless antenna. So this is a D-Link wireless router. It has some indications, power, and then internet 1, 2, 3, 4 network connections. To the back side, observe. On the back side of this one, let me switch on my torch. Observe. We have how many ports? Total 5 ports. Out of 5 ports, we have a yellow color port is there. That yellow color port is designated as WAN. WAN means internet connection, our incoming internet connection to be connected over here. And then remaining 4 were represented as LAN, local area network. How many interfaces were there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So using this single device, if I insert my connection, so for example, this is my internet connection, consider. So simply I'll connect my internet connection, and then using LAN, I can share my internet connection to 4 end devices. Using wired network, I can share to 4 end devices. Okay, next, by enabling access point using this antenna, and then at the laptop, in the laptop we can see our wireless networks. For example, so what Cisco mentioned, observe your LAN tray icon. So I'll show you. So my mouse pointer is there. This is our LAN icon. Click on that one. If you click on that one, you will be getting multiple wireless LAN connections. Okay, this is the way we have to observe our LAN wireless infrastructure we can establish. And one more thing, I want to establish internet connection. What Cisco mentioned is observe the network icon. Okay, observe the network icon. So I will show you how to establish a networking connection to a system to a switch, right? Then so observe, I had one more system. So this is a computer. To the computer, observe this one, into mark. That means there is no network connection. Why? Because I didn't connected any cable to this one. So in order to provide internet or LAN connection to this computer, what are my minimum requirements? I need a cable which has a connectors, RJ45 connectors. So I will connect that RJ45 cable to my system, and then another end of the cable to be connected to the nearest router or a switch. Okay, router or a switch. So I'll show you one more device. So this is a switch. This is a 8-port switch. Some LED lights were blinking. This is my switch, 8-port switch. To the back side of the switch, observe, I had 8 ports were there. Already I'm using 3 connections. Using this to the switch only, using a cable, I will provide internet connection to the system. So where to connect to the system? So to the back side of a system, we have a RJ45 connection. I'll show you. Already this is not a system. Already opened my motherboard. During a hardware and troubleshooting workshop, I kept open my all these devices. So same thing showing to you. To the back side, we have a RJ45 port, right? To this port, we need a cable to connect this port to that switch. Okay, for that one, I will use a cable. So this cable already had a pin attached to it, this cable. So using crimping also, we can make this cable. So first I'll insert this cable, right? So successfully I inserted that cable, and then other end of the cable to be connected to the switch, right? I'll connect other end of the cable to the switch, and so I connected my cable. Observe the network icon. Observe the network icon. What's going on over the network icon? So into mark has gone. Okay, into mark has gone. What is the meaning? It means a connection has been established to the network. So to verify that one, right click on that icon, open, click on open network and sharing center. So here I'll turn off my torch so that it will be easily visible to you. So here observe. So it's showing that even though my network cable is connected, it's showing that there is no internet connection between these two devices. Why? Because we didn't perform any IP address configurations on this one. So to perform IP address configurations, open, change adapter settings. In that, here observe, we have our local area connection, and it is the pin. It's already connected, right? If I remove the pin, if there is no connection, observe, into mark, it indicates that there is no physical connection. If I insert the cable, observe, it's updated, right? This is the way we can visually identify first, and after verification of cable, go to, right click on that one, click on status. You will get this option, status, right? Click on details. In the details, observe. So I'm getting some IP addresses, but these IP addresses were misconfigured.
these IP addresses were misconfigured. So to change that one, how many types of IP addressing schemas were there? There are two types, automatic IP addressing and static IP addressing. At this point, my router is distributing IP addresses. So I can ask my router to give an IP address to my system. In order to do that, so change the settings of your LAN connection or change your IP address to automatic mode. So in order to do that, this is the most important thing. Click on your network connection, click on properties, right? After that, you will get this window. In this one, click on IPv4, open the properties. Here you can observe we have two IP addressings. IP address automatically or manually use the following address. If you don't know anything, if you want to get IP address automatically from the router, check the first connection, select the first option, obtain IP address automatically, and then DNS also, obtain DNS server automatically. Okay, and then click on OK. Close. Observe what happens. Now I got some settings from my router. Select anything, home network or work network. For the time being, I'm selecting it as a home network. Close that one. Observe. Right click on the status and then open the details. Observe. I got IP address 192.168.0.158 and then my gateway is my router address, right? This is the new address I got from my router, automatically configured from my router, and go to back. Observe what happens. Observe your computer is connected to the internet. Now you are getting internet successfully. This is the way. So first you need to finish with cabling first. There should be no errors with your cabling, and if your cable is good, then perform IP address configurations over the device. Okay, this is the way we can verify our networks, right?
So I'll change my mode. I will shift my mode. I think okay, I shifted to my laptop. I think you got a complete idea how we will connect these devices physically and make connectivity, either internet connectivity or local area connectivity. Got my point? Able to hear my voice? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir, it is audible.
Anyone can respond? Able to hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Anyone, you can respond. Able to hear my voice? I just now shifted to my laptop. Hello? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think you got a clarity on how we will connect these devices to a network devices. I used a switch to connect a system. We had a cable. How we connected that one system to the switch using a cable. How we changed our IP address from static to automatic mode, which is called as DHCP mode, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. Right. So with this, our module is finished. And now I am closing this session, and I will post the next session timing. Okay.